And welcome to the Elite Tennis Podcast. I am Mike Baugh. With me today, I have the pleasure and the privilege of interviewing the one and the only Michele Krause. Michele, thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely, Mike. It's so nice to be with you. You're my Florida neighbor. We're pretty close, but we don't get to see each other all that much. So it's great to see your handsome face.
Absolutely. So what have you been up to? It's, with the pandemic coming in and the changes with everything else, I'm sure everyone kind of knows what I'm alluding to. What have you been up to?
Yeah, I've been busy, like all of us are very busy. Our new world is, of course, interesting. I think, each and every one of us is always pivoting. I had, prior to the pandemic, I was traveling and speaking a bit and coaching, and then we came into pandemic. And what I've been working on is my new platform, which I'm really excited about. And this is actually accumulation of decades worth of experience and work. And the platform is called inTENNSity Fitness. The actual website is inTENNSity.com. And inTENNSity is, actually, you can see it here. It is the opposite way. It is spelled with two N's so that we see tennis in the middle. So when we speak it, it's just inTENNSity. But when you see it, you can see the tennis part. So my platform and what I have done, for decades in our industry is all about high energy tennis fitness training on the tennis court. And this platform definitely encompasses that. And it will be the source for all education and programming for HITT, okay, HITT, high intensity tennis training. Now, many of us are familiar with HITT, HIIT, right? Mike, are you familiar with that?
Yeah, high interval intensity training, yeah.
Right, I mean, that's a pretty, HITT, HIIT, has always been a very big buzzword in the fitness industry. And many people in tennis know it. And that is a reference to high intensity interval training. And what we're doing is high intensity tennis training. And of course, there's intervals there, as we know, there's intervals mixed in with that as well, too. So I think it's very appropriate for our industry that we are doing HITT. And that is a very specific space where we are remember, it's the integration of tennis and fitness. It's not fitness separate from tennis, it's an integration. So there's going to be a lot of cool things coming forward on my platform. But that's going to be the main body embodiment of the platform is learn the education and programming on how to deliver HITT as a tennis instructor.
Well, that's awesome. So how can somebody, obviously they go to the website, which is inTENNSity with two
inTENNSity,
N's.
right.
I've got it here on the bottom of the screen. And then they register, and then they can access
the website actually just went live a couple days ago, and like all websites are always a work in progress. But you can go check it out. One can subscribe so that they can get any information coming forth from me regarding emails or video, that type of thing. My first offering is the high intensity tennis training fundamentals course. I'm really excited about that. I spent a lot of the pandemic working on that and putting it together. And in that course, so this course is actually it's really for everybody. So it's for tennis and fitness instructors, because I have always been a proponent of fitness instructors being involved in the tennis industry and delivering this type of programming, because they possess a lot of those skill sets that's needed, because it is group fitness. Bottom line, this is group fitness. But this course is for tennis instructors that maybe, maybe one is offering cardio tennis or boot camp or aerobic tennis or live ball or any of those various formats. This is an incredible education that is going to help you get better at delivering that, whether you're starting from scratch. So maybe you've never done any of this type of program delivery, or maybe you've done it for a while, but you've never had any formal education on it. It's innovative. It is group fitness. The other area that this course addresses is, even if that's not your space, okay, meaning maybe I don't have a knack for high intensity or cardio tennis focused things, the course is going to make any tennis coach a better coach. Okay, so why would it make them a better coach? I mean, Mike, you know me, you've known me for a very long time, you know what I do. Like, why do you think this course would maybe make a coach better, just in the context of all the segments that they deal with, whether it's adults, whether it's teams, whether it's juniors, whether it's high school? You're a very good high school coach. How do you think my course might apply to those types of coaches?
It's kind of been proven that people are looking to move.
Yep.
They've been looking to get a workout.
Yep.
And getting a workout while they're hitting tennis balls and while they're learning the game, I think getting those two at the same time is kind of what people are really looking for. Right. And that's, I think, what you're doing here.
Yeah. So Mike, you can put on your high school coach's hat. And I don't coach high school, so I'm deferring to you. But what I do know is that a lot of our coaches, they're dealing with a lot of kids at one time with maybe not a lot of courts, right?
Yeah.
Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And that's tough, right? So one of the things that this course does is it really helps the coach understand how to deal with and manage large groups while keeping them safe, keeping them active, and keeping them engaged. So I think that's a big bonus. And quite candidly, we don't have very much education in our industry in that specific space. The other thing that again, Mike, you've known me for a long time. I'm about growing the game, right?
Absolutely.
You're about growing the game. And we love our sport, right? We know that it's the best sport on the face of the planet. And candidly, this pandemic has been an opportunity for our sport. And I'm not sure that everybody's quite taking advantage of it as they should be. And one thing that we need to consider in the tennis industry is that a lot of Americans right now, unfortunately, they don't want to go to the gym.
No.
Right? Now, we've had gyms, and again, gyms are, in some places, fitness facilities are open. In some places, they're reopening. They're at different capacities. But, there was a survey, and the survey said it was either 55 or 57% of Americans were not going to go back to the gym. That's a big number. Okay, and I feel bad for our friends in the fitness industry. But within our sport, we already have a built-in fitness activity, and that's tennis. All right, but again, I don't know that we are actually presenting it as such as well as we could be. Okay, so this course is also going to teach you how to incorporate more fitness activities within the construct of your tennis session. Okay, so even if you're doing an adult, maybe an adult ladies team workout, there are things that you can take from this course that you can plug right into those adult team practices. And I'm talking things that last maybe 5 minutes. All right. And remember, anybody will do anything for a short period of time.
So what are some of the pillars or some of the foundations of inTENNSity and some of the foundations of that workout?
Great question. I like that. Pillars. Again, I'm a little repetitive here, but I think over the years, the decades, I'm pretty consistent with my messaging, okay, when it comes to coach education and growing our game. And of course, one of the pillars of these tennis fitness integration workouts is, of course, the use of the red, the orange, and the green ball. That is just that. I like the word. It's a pillar. Again, do we understand the importance of that, or why? And Mike, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because you've been around me so long.
I have. Really?
Yeah. No. So what's the benefit of why is the orange ball such a great benefit in a tennis fitness integration workout?
It evens the playing field. I mean, you can mix levels. You can have 3 O's and 4 O's and 3 5s all on the court together. Keeps the point going. Everyone, and it's harder to hit winners, and it keeps the ball in play longer, so people are moving their feet more, and it does exactly what you want to do, and keeps the ball going.
Right. So well stated. I mean, number one, we know it's a great equalizer. And again, the more we can be inclusive with our tennis programming, okay, the more success that we're going to have as tennis coaches and as club managers, owners, directors, okay, because we need different ability levels playing and socializing amongst each other. We don't just want the 4 O's just playing with the 4 O's, right? And I'm not saying the 4 O's should play with the 2 5s all the time, but when we create more friendships through tennis and more social network, that gives more value to a membership. Okay. And that's what an owner manager is looking for. Member retention is where they are going to make their money and their revenue. So the more we can, so not only are we integrating tennis and fitness, but we're integrating the different ability levels of the club. So again, if we look at this for what it is, which is tennis fitness integration, the other great thing about the orange ball is that obviously it doesn't bounce as high, all right? So therefore that means the consumer has to go to the ball, they have to get lower, they are lunging, they are squatting, right? And ultimately that results in better functional living or daily active lifestyle, right? So without purposely maybe doing a squat or a lunge, those things are happening to a degree on the tennis court within the progress of this class. And that makes us stronger and it makes us less prone to injury. The other thing with the orange ball, again, is that it does, I don't like the word slower, but it is slower, but that gives people more time to do what? React to the ball, right? And if we have a little more time, because what's happening with the yellow ball? People are doing, if you're not, 4-0 or above, and there's yellow ball, what's happening? People are panicking,
Yep.
Right? It's a panic because the ball comes fast and it bounces high. That results in panic, and that results in poor technique, actually. And that also results in other issues, which we won't go in. So the orange ball is definitely the fitness ball. We also use the red ball predominantly in the warm up and the cool down because we're doing so many partner activities and they require control and touch. And then the green ball is used a little bit, but not so much. So I just got asked the other day, we were playing triples, go figure that I was playing triples somewhere. And this was at one of the clubs here in Sarasota. And I was playing in with all the members and it was really fun. And again, all different ability levels. We were using orange ball, and one of a player who was pretty decent, he said to me, well, Michelle, do you ever use the yellow ball for triples? And I said, no. I go, it's just so dangerous.
Yeah.
All right. It's just, when you've got 1 up and 2 back. And again, most recreational players, sorry, but 3, 5 and below, they're what at the net? They're afraid.
Yeah.
Right. They're afraid. And what that orange ball does is it gives them confidence. Okay. It gives them confidence and they can actually, even hit a correct volley in decent technique. And I told him that it was, safety. I said it was the equalizer. And all I had to do was say those 2 things and he completely got it. Yeah. Right. So again, I think we don't give our clients and our members enough credit. If we just give them a little explanation of why we're using these balls, then 95% of them get it pretty quickly. I mean, would you agree, Mike, in your experience?
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And then this Tuesday night, we were playing triples, but this was pro triples, all right, which is like a whole nother level.
Well, it's
and right, again, like insanity. Okay. And again, orange ball. Within that hour of triples, let's see, I pegged one of my teammates big time in the back of the head. And the other team also pegged one of their teammates in the back. And again, this is why we use the orange ball, because when you get hit, because somebody's going to get hit in triples, the orange ball doesn't hurt. Now, see, if Djokovic was playing with the orange ball in the US Open and he hit the lines person with the orange ball, her throw would have been okay. Right, that's a stretch. No pros are playing with the orange ball. So does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Yeah.
She still probably would have sat on the ground though.
That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole nother topic. We're talking about, recreational players, bringing people together, and really elevating the fitness profile of our great sport. Mike, can I talk about HIT to get fit?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So we have two sides. We have HIT to get fit, and we have get fit to hit, right? Those are some common phrases we hear, correct?
Yeah.
So, Mike, which side do you lean more towards? Just in your own, like your whole holistic coaching.
I'm more on the HIT to get fit than the get fit to hit.
Okay. And why? Like for you, why? What's your why?
For me, why? Because I've seen it where people can get in shape by playing tennis. Whereas if you're trying to get in shape to play tennis, you're wasting time that you could be playing tennis.
So, yeah, I mean, again, I'll go back to, I think our sport, when done correctly, is one of the greatest fitness activities out there. And again, I'll go back to growing the game. Now, I lean, of course, towards HIT to get fit. That does not mean that I'm opposed to or against get fit to hit, because we need that too, right? Yeah. However, again, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the masses. I'm looking at bringing new people into the game. I'm looking at the fact that our adult population is much more sedentary than it's ever been. Most adults do not possess basic physical literacy. They just don't. Okay, not in 2020. So if I tell somebody who is new to our game, okay, yeah, or they hear get fit to hit, that's going to turn them away. Yeah. Because it's like, wait, I have to get fit to play tennis? I don't think that's the case. I think you use tennis to get fit. Now, when you get to more experienced players, obviously, and we're going up the scale.
Yeah, absolutely.
The get fit to hit becomes much more important, right? And that also involves injury prevention, et cetera. But I think that people you're new to the game, maybe looking to be more fit, they can get out there. They can get out there in an intensity class. They use the different balls, and their heart rates are going to be elevated, and they are going to improve their fitness like that.
Yeah. So here's the thing: is when people make statements, you can't compare 5.0, 5.5 and pro level tennis to recreation tennis.
Correct.
And there's a lot of blanket statements made that when people say things, they may mean it towards one level. like that higher tier, that 5055 pro level tennis, where they may not mean it towards recreation 3035 tennis, but the 3035 tennis may be included in that statement, and they may not be realizing in that. So I think that a lot of, especially tennis tips on YouTube are especially guilty with this. They don't come with the disclaimer on who their target is. Especially one of our great friends, Sean Drake, with Racket Fit. It's, you never want to ask a player to do something that they're physically incapable of doing. So we're not Federer, we're not Djokovic, and we're not Nadal. So we don't have the physicality, we don't have the flexibility to do a lot of these things that those athletes do. Not to leave, I know I just said the three men's players. We're not Serena, we're not Halep, and we're not Osaka either. Not to leave any of them off either. But we don't have the physical abilities and the flexibility. I don't have the flexibility that I did 20 years ago. So
I can help you with that.
I know. But at the same time, it's the to try to do the things that we want to do. We can still play, and we can still go to the gym, and we can work with our physios. We can work with our core staff, and we can work, and we can do these all together. We may not, I know everyone has the same number of hours in the week, but working together, and I know this is kind of going more on a Racket Fit, trend, of course. But if someone doesn't have the capabilities to have the flexibility to do something, well, then let's not say that they can't play tennis at all. Let's say, okay, well, let's do a workaround. Let's do this instead of this, and still get them on the court. And then let's work with the trainers and the physios or whatever they need to do to get them better in that area. And then let's get fit on that side while they're still playing tennis over on this side too.
So true. And I mean, here's the thing. Everybody can get better. Right. So it doesn't matter what our age is or what our skill level is. There's always a room for improvement. And if one is coaching and delivering HIIT workouts, okay, based on the format of inTENNSity fitness, okay, it's just your built-in fitness program. So what's going to improve? Obviously, your cardiovascular is going to improve, your ability to train aerobically and anaerobically. Your flexibility is going to improve. We're not lifting weights. Okay, we're not bringing the gym. We don't need to bring the gym to the court, right? Because we already have a built-in fitness activity from an aerobic, anaerobic standpoint. Again, never discounting strength, power, conditioning, all that sort of thing. But a big part of working out is having an enjoyable time. And the inTENNSity fitness platform is all about games. It is all games based. And Mike, as you know, these games do not work with the yellow ball. Okay, you've got to play orange ball.
Because try, but you're gonna get 1 and 2 ball length rallies, and that's not the point. You want to get that extended rally length.
Yeah. So you've defeated the whole purpose of what we're doing, which is a workout. And remember, what's important here is that it's group fitness and it's a workout. It's just that we're using tennis as the vehicle to get to that end goal. And when people are playing games, okay, what are we doing? Well, we have a little competition, but also are we laughing? We're smiling, right? We're joking around with each other. We're talking smack. You don't see that in yoga, okay? You don't see that in a spin class, all right? We used to do high fives a lot. That's kind of gone away right now. Although I will say, I have to admit, when we played pro triples the other night, we were bad and we high fived each other. We just couldn't help it. We were so excited. Yeah. Well, no, we were, unfortunately, we were touching each other, but we had the hand wipes on the court, so we washed up as soon as we did that. Yeah, in Florida, we're a little bit different than the rest of the country. Which is not necessarily a good thing. Games, and what is going to keep people coming back is that mind body engagement, right? You've got to move to a ball, you've got to connect with it, you've got to recover, you've got to rotate. That's really working the neural pathways in your brain, right? In a spin class, you're sitting on a bike and you're going nowhere. So there's not as much engagement there.
It also feels a lot better to have the wind when you're running for a ball to go past your face than it is to be in a hot, sweaty studio with no air except for a fan. Yeah.
And again, I'll go back to, tennis has an incredible opportunity at this moment. So if what we need to do as an industry is we need to keep emphasizing the health and fitness benefits of our sport, but we can't just talk about it. Okay, we have to show it, and we have to explain it, and we have to educate. And through the inTENNSity fitness platform and the HIT course, that's going to give you really good insight into how to do that. And speaking, we keep talking HIT to get fit. So I think we have a special offer for your viewers, Mike, on the course. We have a $20 discount on the course. And so that code is HITFIT, all caps, but it expires really soon. So you might want to jump on this because this is a and Mike, your viewers, candidly, are the very first in the world to be hearing about this, because this course just went live about 48 hours ago. And this is the very first time that I have discussed it on any platform, anywhere. So
I feel so privileged to be breaking this out.
You're breaking it. You're breaking it. That the high intensity tennis training fundamentals course is available. Obviously, for our tennis coaches, they'll get their CEUs from our teaching organizations. But it's a really fun course. It's innovative. And again, I think no matter what you do, what the segments are that you deal with for the most of the time, this course will make you a better coach, flat out. And you're going to be able to take these things and these tips and these activities right to the court. Okay, you got to practice them. Okay, just like anything. And I coach you on how to practice these things and how to start incorporating them into your regular teaching. But learning how to manage groups, and especially in pandemic time, we have to really keep our groups safe. There are facilities around the country that are still not allowing 4 people on a court, right? Yeah. We have up in Northern Florida, there's still places where there's a tennis court. They're leaving it open in between reservations. So it's all different depending on where you live. I, of course, am putting 8 people on a court. But if you're going to do that, you have to know how to manage that court and keep them safe and keep them so that they have a decent physical distancing, that they're not coming into contact with each other. And you need to command your court. And, that takes a special skill set, and it's practice like anything else, just like your feeding skills. There's a whole module on feeding and how to feed with, of course, rhythm, which is the most important thing. In that module, you're going to learn all the 3 balls across variations. In the course, you're going to get a video of a full class start to finish with the detailed lesson plan, with all the activity diagrams, and with all the associated collateral video that goes along with helping you to deliver these sessions. And here's the great thing. You can use it all or you can use parts of it. It's entirely up to you what you want to do with it. I'm giving you the education. You can take pieces. You can take it in its totality. I will tell you, though, that in its totality, that's where you make the money. All right? Because if you follow the format, it's a proven formula. And those that do are making money hand over foot.
That's awesome. So a couple questions. So it's $89 before the discount.
Correct.
So with the $20 discount, that makes it very, very reasonable.
Really reasonable.
5 hours of your time, you get the skills, you can go back, you can look at the stuff.
You have the access to the course for forever. And, we'll always be adding to the course as well too. And, adapting it, but yeah, it's lifetime access to the course.
That's awesome, Michele. The next question is, you've talked a lot about high intensity interval training. You've talked a lot about keeping up the heart rates, and you talked about that. Are there any packages or any way, or so how are you doing this? How are you keeping track of the heart rates and that?
Yeah. So again, I'm a heart rate monitor girl. I've personally trained with a heart rate monitor for probably 18 years. I'm a big fan of group fitness apps. And I recommend it. I mean, when you can use that technology, I mean, when I say it's a pillar of the program, it is. At the same time, I'm not saying that you have to use it. It's absolutely your choice what you want to do with your programming. I'm just going to give you what is the highest standards. All right. And when you have an iPad or some sort of monitor on your court where every individual heart rate is up there, that has tremendous benefit. One, it elevates the fitness profile of your class again. Two, as the instructor, it helps me to keep my participants safe. And that is always my number one priority. Okay, always is to keep my participants safe. So I can manage the heart rate. Is somebody training too hard? Are they training too low? Remember, overtraining is just as not good as undertraining, right? So can I keep them in their appropriate zones? It also makes the individuals accountable for their workout. And it also is a motivating factor, right? So one of my classes, well, they're all pretty hardcore, but my group is really hardcore. And again, it's about the workout. And some of the gals who are tinier, they get mad when they don't burn 600 calories. I'm like, you're in the red. I go, you're tiny. You are not going to burn 600 calories. And remember, when you train in red, and red means a lot of different things with this, which this discussion is not about, okay? But you are going to have that epoch effect afterwards. So don't focus on the calories that you burn in the class. Focus on the zones that you're in, because when you train in the higher zones, you will then burn more calories throughout the day while you're not exercising. So, Mike, there's a lot of great tech partners out there, from Polar to MyZone to AccuroFit. They all have group apps. I know a number of clubs like the Genesis clubs in the Midwest, they have MyZone. So they have, their TVs on the court and they use the MyZone system. The Midtown TCA clubs use the MyZone system. MyZone is better for brick and mortar, big tennis and fitness facilities. It's fairly expensive. So if you're kind of a on your own coach who coaches outside, MyZone's not the option for you. Okay. Polar has the team app. Today they now have armbands that we can wear here. So if the people don't like the chest strap, again, highly recommend it. But again, this is up to every individual out there. And again, pandemic's been interesting. When we were in pandemic, I got rid of heart rate monitors, right? Because that just was not cool. Okay. And then after a while, I'm like, I am ready to bring heart rate monitors back. And the deal was, it's like, okay, if you're not comfortable, then by all means, you don't need to wear it. But my people know that these straps, they're clean, they're disinfected. They were kind of funny. They're like, well, do you want us to take them home and wash them? I'm like, no, just put them in my bag. Okay, I'll wash them. We're going to wash our hands because we just touched them. And that's what you got to do. You wash your hands. All right. And we don't stick our finger in our eyeballs. And so all of my people are back wearing heart rate monitors. But again, it's going to be, if again, in the Northeast, they're not that open to things like that yet. But anyway, you have to determine what's best for you, your members, and your club at this certain moment in time. And what we're seeing is a very large spectrum of things that are happening.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I know like there are different fitness places like Orange Theory is really huge.
Yeah.
And different places that are using the heart rate monitors to track the progress. And it's almost like a motivator to see your heart rate and your name up on the screen. And
Right.
you almost want to push yourself a little bit harder. And it's like when you're on the tennis court, especially in Florida, when it's, there's a storm cloud over here and it's 110 degrees heat index.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And you're like, how much more do I have? And you look and you're like, I'm only in orange. I still have more to give.
You do.
You can do it and you can go more. And it's like, you can, and you just did that extra.
But you wouldn't know that, right? You wouldn't know that if you weren't using technology. And the other night when we were playing pro triples, we were laughing because everybody's in red. Okay, all the pros are in red, pretty much the whole time. And we're laughing. Well, that's right. We're laughing. We are huffing and puffing. There's no doubt. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, team, remember the goal is not to necessarily be in red. Okay. It's really to be more in orange, but that is the physicality of what HIIT, HITT, high intensity tennis training does to the body, because you're moving your entire body. You're moving through all planes of motion. And there's not a lot of activities where you're doing that to the degree and the pace and the length that you're doing it in a, intensity workout. So the guys are busting on me like, no, we're going to train in red. We're going to train in red. And I'm like, okay, I'm out. No, we played an hour. And that's the other thing. We played hard for an hour. And again, we have to remind ourselves to not overdo it. Like at that point, and Tuesday night in Florida was brutal, right? From a humidity standpoint, right? With Sally like hanging over us, right? Even for us, humid Floridians who we're used to it, we were drenched. We were dripping. And it's like, okay, we've been out there for an hour, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm done. And not that it wasn't fun and I didn't want to play more, but my body, that's all that my body needed. And I was going to be getting into overtraining. And I don't want to do that when I have to start coaching at 7:00 the next morning, right? I want to give my body time to recover. So yes, we're in the red when we do intensity. Okay. But let's try to keep it in the orange a little more.
Awesome. Well, Michele, so we've talked about the red, orange, and green balls. We've talked about better functional living through low compression balls. We've talked about how the orange ball is the fitness ball. We've talked about high intensity interval training. We've talked about not going beyond what you're functionally capable of doing. We've talked about getting fit to hit or hit to fit.
Right.
I think I just messed
I know
that up.
It's okay. I messed it up too. We've got hit to get fit.
Hit to get fit.
Or get fit to hit.
Get fit to hit.
Right.
Okay.
And we do need both of them. Okay. We need both of them. But from a grow the game standpoint, we as tennis professionals need to message hit to get fit.
So of all the stuff that we've already covered, we've got your new website, which is inTENNSity with two N's.
Two N's.
I just put it back up here on the screen. If you use the code HITFIT, all caps, you get $20 off the course, which is $89 before the discount. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you want to talk about and cover? Because I know that we get the chance, and I talk and I pick your brain about different things about what's going on here in Florida, and not just here in Florida, but about what's going on in the industry. I know that, were you on the TIA call?
I did. I did get on the TIA industry update.
Okay.
which I thought, considering that, it wasn't our usual thing in New York,
Yeah.
right? But I thought they did an excellent job. Everybody from the USTA and the TIA, I thought they did a wonderful job of, informing everybody and getting the message across and updating. I think it was interesting to see, not necessarily surprising. I was glad to see, and again, I'm kind of going from a little memory here. I thought they mentioned that the color, the red balls, the orange, the sales of those were higher, which is really what I really like to see that. And there were certain racket segments, right, that had gone, had gone up, pandemic wise. So those are all really good signs. I think the USTA did an amazing job with the US Open. I mean, hats off to them. It was magnificent considering what they had to do, and where I think a lot of people are like, it's never going to happen. It's New York, it's not going to happen. And so I can't even imagine all the hard work that the people in that organization did to make that happen. So hats off to them. What were some of your takeaways from that seminar?
I thought it was really good. I've been to the last few,
Yep.
so it was kind of nice to see the continuation, year after year after year, kind of seeing where we are,
Right.
especially the hard numbers, what the stuff that we can actually track, the numbers from the manufacturers. I think the numbers from the manufacturers are a better sign, because those are numbers that we can track. The numbers from Wilson, Head, Babolat, those dollar signs there. Some of the other numbers I think are a little harder to track, the surveys from clubs and pros, wherever they try to track those numbers. I think those numbers tend to be a little off sometimes, because you're dealing with rounded figures and people entering data from, I think it was this, but we're really not tracking it, so I'm just going to give an estimated, I think it was this, and I think it was this. But when you're actually adding in dollar signs from retail, from the manufacturers, I think that's a little
Right.
bit harder of a figure. And I think that is a better figure on what we're actually doing. And like what you said, the red, orange, green numbers are up. Racket sales are up. I know, with being with Wilson, and my pro shop sales, Head and Babolat too, I know our racket sales are up this year.
Good.
I know so far since February, everything's been going a lot better. So as far as a private club standpoint, people are going out and playing, and like what everyone else is seeing and everyone else that I'm talking to. And I feel like I have a pretty decent network of pros that I come in contact with. Everyone on the private side is saying that private club side is if as soon as they were able to open, if they had to close, or even if they were open during the pandemic, that they were up as far as lessons and clinics and sales. Which is helping the industry. Racket stringing is up and everything else. And the other thing too is beginner, because people are hearing that tennis is a naturally socially distanced sport.
Safe, hands down.
If your arm is 2 to 2.5 feet in length from your shoulder to your fingers,
right,
and then you hold a racket, and the racket's 27 inches in length. So then you deduct the distance from your hand holding on the racket. You've got about 4 feet in length from your shoulder to the end of the racket.
Right.
If the other person has about 4 feet in length there, and you're both going after the ball, you're going to stay at least 8 feet apart from each other so you don't hit rackets.
Yeah. Well stated.
And if we're staying 6 feet apart for socially distanced, and we're staying 8 feet apart so we don't hit rackets, well, then we're always socially distanced on the tennis court.
Yep. Well, Mike, you had put that graphic together where I think you used round circles.
Very early.
Was it 25 people on a tennis court?
32 with 11. I ran out of circles I could use with my little app.
And again, obviously those circles weren't moving. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's just a huge statement, right? That many people could, be on. So, I think we win, but in regards to some of the numbers being up, which is great. And I'm glad they brought the gentleman in from the golf industry, because they're experiencing, where golf and tennis are experiencing some growth because they're the two safest sports, but we can't be complacent. Right.
No.
And that's why I keep going back to, okay, we have to do our best to take advantage of this particular situation. We need to be better at explaining and discussing the health and fitness benefits of our sport. So we've got health, fitness, and physical distancing, all right, of our sport. And we need to integrate more fitness into our current tennis offering. I mean, here's an example of fitness. This is not rocket science, okay? And Mike, I live in Sarasota, Florida. Florida overall has a senior population. Skill building, okay? Earlier I said our adults lack a lot of physical literacy. Okay, most of our clients, okay, whether your clients or my clients or whoever, are what? They're medium, okay? Yep. Meaning medium ability level, medium fitness level. Okay, some will argue that it's more on the low or medium low. I'm going to say medium. As tennis coaches, that's the majority of the population we deal with, right? Unless you're at an academy, okay? So, if you're at an academy, that's a different story. But you're at a country club, I'm all over the place, okay? It's middle, right? So with middle, again, we want to improve all those skills. But can middle, how good are middle at catching and tossing? I would say bad. Okay, I'm going to say bad, okay? So I had some clients this morning. We were doing catching, we were doing sending and receiving skills. And the one that I love is, obviously the very beginnings of learning how to juggle. I mean, ask anybody to put a ball in each hand, right? And send one over, right? How good are they the first attempt? How good are they the 10th attempt?
No.
All right. So that skill, and you're not doing it for long. You're doing it for maybe a minute. Okay. You're not spending 10 minutes on it. Okay. Because then they get irritated. So you do it for a little bit and then you move on. All right. And the seed is planted. Okay. But now it's like, oh, my brain is now coordinating with my hands. So if my brain is coordinating with my hands better, I'm going to be better at actually touching the tennis ball. So again, you're going to learn a lot of these things in the inTENNSity Fitness platform.
Awesome. Well, Michele, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate talking to you. It's always a pleasure to see you, speak with you. Hopefully, I would be seeing you in New Orleans next week.
Yeah, but we'll be all virtual together, right?
We'll be virtually together again. Yep. So hopefully we can connect here soon, and look forward to speaking with you again. And hopefully you can stay safe and get more people using the orange ball in their inTENNSity lessons. And
absolutely, let's just as coaches, let's continue to try to raise the bar in integrating tennis and fitness together on the court. Remember, the fitness part really just comes from hitting balls. Okay, so are we hitting a lot of balls, or are we standing and picking up balls? That's what it comes down to. It's that simple.
That's great. So here's the website one more time. It's inTENNSity.com with 2 N's. Michele, once again, thank you. And I will see you all again soon. Take care.
Thanks, Mike, for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure.